Welcome to Business Ninjas, brought to you by WriteForMe, where you'll hear from business leaders who are out there growing their business and slaying it every day. Learn from the masters. Let's get started.
So Adam, thanks for joining us here on Business Ninjas. We're excited to learn more about your company and dig into how you're helping people kind of meet their long-term financial goals and stability goals. Maybe you can start by just telling us the company name, where you're based, and the website folks can find you at.
Sure. Yeah. Jamie, thanks for having me. I'm Adam O'Brien. Our website, bitcoinwell.com. We're based in Edmonton, Alberta, founded in 2013. This is where I've been born and raised. And so as a result, our organization has cemented our roots here, which has been great.
Right on. Cool. And maybe you could give everybody a little bit of a background on kind of your arc and how you found crypto and what led to, joining Bitcoin Well.
Yeah, finding crypto in 2013, I was like obviously just engulfed in the rabbit hole that is Bitcoin. Was trying to buy it and found it to be kind of quite difficult. And so set out on a journey to buy Bitcoin, ended up finding a niche of people that wanted help and kind of needed the education to actually buy Bitcoin. And then from there, we morphed into Bitcoin ATMs. Which was in 2014. We deployed Alberta and Saskatchewan's first Bitcoin ATM. And then in 2020, we started branching out into online products and allowing people to actually make use of Bitcoin. So you can pay your bills, pay your credit cards, you can buy gift cards with Bitcoin. And that's where our focus is now, is on making Bitcoin useful for everyday people.
Right on. And are you still doing the ATM bit? Are those still out there, or did you pivot fully to the
No, so we still have 250 Bitcoin ATMs. That's
Wow.
our core business. That's what drives the majority of our revenue. And we're taking the profits from Bitcoin ATMs and really investing in our in the online product and this kind of Bitcoin usability platform. Really, it kind of takes a blend of three things. We take Bitcoin, we take custodial exchanges, and we take banks. And our mission is to blend the three and really future-proof money that way.
Interesting. Okay. And how receptive have the banks been to this? I'm sure you've got plenty of customers that are trying to figure out how to solve these kind of hiccups in the financial system. So what's their take been so far?
Yeah, banks, they haven't been receptive. We're definitely not working with them. I'd say they're working against us. We'd love to work with them, but
right.
We don't have that luxury. And so, yeah, it definitely is a challenge that we have to overcome on a daily basis. But I think anytime you're disrupting anything, especially a century-old legacy fiat system like we are, it's got its challenges, and that's part of the fun.
Right. Cool. And what led to kind of expanding out from, so you've got this large footprint of Bitcoin ATMs and then kind of transitioning into the wider vision? I'm sure there's a story around feedback you got from clients there that led to wanting to kind of expand your services. So how did that come about?
Yeah, like Bitcoin ATMs primarily right now are surrounded in like on and off ramp into Bitcoin, which is great. That's been like for the last decade, that's been the problem we've been solving, is Bitcoin accessibility. But over the last few years, I've been getting a lot more questions, and the community has been asking a lot more around like, what can you do with Bitcoin? What can you actually do with it? And that kind of got me thinking around like, well, what can you do with money? And like money, you can do lots of things with, right? You can earn it, you can trade it, you can send it around the world, you can buy things with it, you can sell things for it, you can send it to your friends, you can borrow against it. There's all kinds of things you want to do with money. And there wasn't any services that allowed us to do those same things with Bitcoin under that kind of same convenient, like modern banking is quite convenient. And so really trying to couple the like benefits of Bitcoin with the convenience of modern banking. This has kind of been a key area of focus for me in the last like 6 months. And kind of earlier on, like with bill payments and the ability to sell Bitcoin online, for example, a couple of years ago.
Wow, that's wild. And how did the kind of the pandemic COVID years affect the business? Did you see a drop in usage at certain times, or were people kind of flocking to it and looking at kind of long-term, wow, things can change in the drop of a hat, I kind of need to change my overall financial profile here? Like what was that experience like for
Definitely the
Bitcoin-wise?
latter. I think that obviously the industry took a big jump in 2020 and 2021. We were in like everything kind of just disintegrated in March of 2020, and then when we moved out of March of 2020, it was like a rocket ship ride. And so I think that we saw pretty significant growth in 2020 and 2021. I don't know that it was like, to give you a sense of scale, in 2019 we did 14 million in revenue. 2020 was 42, and then 2021 was 99. So like really some pretty insane growth over that time. It was a lot of like reaction, and so now we're not too far off the highs of 2021, even given this crazy market crash.
Wow.
Which is a testament, I think, like the process that we kind of had to build simultaneously to that rocket ship growth.
Right. Yeah. And so I'm curious to know what the market price of Bitcoin does to kind of participation. Do you see folks pulling back, or are they taking a more long-term vision?
Well, certainly less people take a long-term vision, but I think that like every cycle, this is my third like bear market cycle for Bitcoin,
Right.
and every cycle breeds, we call it the class of. And so, the class of 2017 produced, X hundred thousands of people that were like, oh, I'm FOMOing into all things crypto because the number go up forever. And then it
Yeah.
crashes, it forces them to like really internalize why it crashed, and then they kind of gravitate either closer towards Bitcoin or they completely exit the system. And we're seeing that same thing here in the class of 2022. Bitcoin and the broader crypto market crashes, this NFT craze that was like out of hand and people were selling monkeys for millions and millions and millions of dollars. That all disappears almost overnight. People look at, well, why did that happen? How is Bitcoin different? And people gravitate generally towards Bitcoin. I think that a really key look at Bitcoin's differentiation is the Bitcoin chart. So people generally price things in fiat, right? ETH has gone up, Dogecoin has gone up, and when you look at it in fiat, that's certainly true. But if you look at it against Bitcoin, that's not always the case.
Right.
Once upon a time, one Bitcoin or one ETH was worth 0.15 Bitcoin. I think today it's worth 0.1 Bitcoin. So, it really shows a different picture as to like, did that asset actually go up in value? Or are you just gaining fiat gains when you could have had something in sound money like Bitcoin?
Right. Right. Interesting. And then what's the revenue model for the company? How do you guys do what you do?
As an organization, we make money by selling Bitcoin. So we charge a fee at our ATM. For example, you pay a $3 fee plus a spread. Online, you pay a $1 fee to be able to buy Bitcoin. That's how we make our money. We obviously have processing fees. We got to build the technology, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
I think eventually down the road, though, it looks a lot more like a bank, like a subscription model than like a fee to play model. I think this fee game is garbage. I hate it. It's like everyone, like, you see people say zero fees, which is like just wrong. Like lying, like it's very, very, because Bitcoin, there's no market price for Bitcoin, right? Like imagine there was a way to sell houses peer to peer and houses were fungible in the way that Bitcoin was. It was like you would just have there would be no price for it. It's all market driven. And so because of that, because people can bury a 0.5% or even 1%, 2%, 3% in this kind of like spread game that lots of our competitors play. And I hate it. So I think that eventually, like, right now, we are the fastest and safest way to buy Bitcoin, and that's like provable, and I can walk you through that and how that works. But in the future, I'd love to showcase like you're buying Bitcoin at spot. Like literally, you cannot buy Bitcoin cheaper than this because of how we do it, and then people will pay to access that platform. More of the Costco model, less of the like Walmart model.
Interesting. Okay. And so yeah, maybe if you do want to kind of dive into that speed advantage that you have and kind of how you separate yourselves out from everybody else that's out there. There's various options. A lot of them are confusing, quite frankly, for I'm sure new consumers.
Yeah, if you aren't a like derivatives trader, like most Bitcoin platforms are scary.
Yeah. Yeah.
The key differentiation for us is around custody of funds. We are non-custodial, meaning we never ever take custody of funds. We are direct to retail. This is different than like 99% of ways that people buy Bitcoin right now. Like Coinbase is a great example. So when you buy Bitcoin from Coinbase, you have to sign up for an account, verify the account, fund your account, make a trade, request a withdrawal, wait for the request to be approved, and then you get Bitcoin on the blockchain. There's a huge process there, mostly around like deposit, trade, withdraw. And there's a ton of customer liability in that space as well. Recently, actually, a couple months ago, it came out that if Coinbase goes bankrupt, all customer funds on that platform are at risk and won't be returned to customers. They'll be used to pay bankruptcy proceedings. So like,
Right.
that's terrifying. That is absolutely unacceptable. That is literally something that is anti-Bitcoin. That's not true Bitcoin. And so what we've done is we've flipped that process on its head. You still got to make an account. You still got to verify your account, but there's no make a trade and there's no withdrawal. The transaction happens immediately. So when you fund your account, you're actually just buying Bitcoin. We are going to add the option to fund an account in the future. That's been a feature that lots of our customers have expressed interest in, so they can kind of like get things in there and move. And that's because they're used to these custodial exchanges. You can literally buy Bitcoin in 2 minutes at bitcoinwell.com.
Wow.
There's no need to pre-fund your account, but
Wow.
we're fighting against, or we're up against our competitors, which have days of delay to fund an account. And so people are scared because they don't want the price to shoot and then be stuck in like waiting for funds to be deposited. So that's the key differentiator, is because of our non-custodial nature, we're safer, right? The customer liability is almost non-existent, and we're faster because the art of sending money and sending Bitcoin happens instantaneously.
Wow. Okay. And then what types of consumers are kind of fitting the profile of folks that you attract? I'm sure there's a couple of different variations on what you see in terms of usage. So what do those cohorts look like?
Our key pillars are in-person and online. And so the in-person services, like we have Bitcoin branches, one in Edmonton, one in Calgary, and then a virtual branch. That's people that are like just starting their Bitcoin journey. They have no idea where to start. Things online are confusing. People are talking about XPubs and blockchains and mining fees and TXIDs. And it's like, what is going on? What is happening here? And so we bring them into our office. They have a one-on-one consultation, 30 to 60 minutes, and they ask all their questions. What's a wallet? What's a Bitcoin address? How does this thing actually work? Then once they're comfortable, once they decide they want to enter the space, when they want to start their Bitcoin journey, we help them with their first transaction and show them how to proceed from there. So really taking that education piece as a really key component. Our online platform is simple to use. It's like, give us a Bitcoin address and pay the bill, and then off you go, you have Bitcoin. But like, give us your Bitcoin address is a massive barrier for the majority of people. And so we find that education component up front really, really helps get people into that mindset of being able to buy Bitcoin online, kind of without that hand holding. And then at the ATMs are a marketplace. It is people that need Bitcoin fast. You can buy Bitcoin at an ATM in 8 seconds. Like there's literally no faster way to buy Bitcoin. And so they're more marketplace driven and have a bit of a different kind of customer philosophy behind those that are buying Bitcoin in, like at our branches or online.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So you've got 3 different channels that you got to educate people in. And how long have you had the in-person locations where people can kind of get schooled up on the basics?
We opened Edmonton in 2018 and then Calgary in 2021.
Wow.
Or early 2021. It's been about 18 months for Calgary.
Yeah. And for the online business, are you limited geographically to certain customers? Like, is it a Canada only value prop, or what's that look like?
So right now it's Canada only, just because we're limited by payment rails. Obviously you cannot safely buy Bitcoin with a credit card. And so finding external payment rails is going to be the next play. First, we got lots of work to do in Canada. And so once we kind of continue tackling that, then we're going to be able to, then we'll have those options to be able to add, Venmo, PayPal, for example, perhaps maybe just ACH in the States. But that's the obvious next step, is like, let's 10X our customer base and get down to USA.
Right on. Yeah, we could use it for sure. And what are the main social media channels where people can find you? I'm sure that's how a lot of people, I'm sure, find you through the channels that you have. So what are they? And
yeah, Twitter is our main source of communication, company news, etc. So at the Bitcoin Well on Twitter. We have a little bit of following starting on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. That's a lot more like education, community growth, and a lot less like talking directly to our customers. So we found that our customers are primarily on Twitter, and we're looking to find new customers on those other social kind of avenues.
Great. All right. Well, thanks for your time. It was great learning more about the company and understanding kind of wider value proposition of Bitcoin. So appreciate it. Thank you.
Amazing. Thanks, man.